Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now, Friday, March 31st. Better late than never. We're finally up and running, ready to rock with the Friday edition of the show. Ian Cameron. We've got Nate Rapensky, who's with us every other Friday, and Nate's back with us. We've got it on a nice timetable with you now, Nate, because your next Friday would be 2 weeks from now, which would be the final day of the regular season. You'd be on with us again, which is April the 14th. So good timing with that, and good timing to have you back. Just quickly, how are things with you? We haven't seen you for a while. You've had a hectic schedule. There was a couple Fridays. I'm like, I may not ask Nate to join us on this Friday with one or two games, but now is the right time to bring you back. How are things with you?
Yeah, they're good, man. Been crazy with some of the work stuff, obviously, as we talked about. And then, a couple of those Fridays with just a couple of games. And then obviously March Madness, did a little traveling for that and got together with some friends, which is great. So it's a great time to be a sports fan. We got Final Four this weekend. NHL's heating up, NBA's heating up, and excited to talk about the games today. And as you mentioned, in a couple of weeks, playoffs on the horizon. So super fun. It'll be interesting to see how these games, you have some games tonight, obviously, with playoff implications, and the rest of the 2 weeks we're going to have it. So it's a really exciting time.
Yeah, no question. Rather than a recap, we're not going to do a recap, even though it was a huge card last night. I will say, though, quickly, it was fun to see it was nice to see fighting back in the NHL last night. It was a very cantankerous night. Ottawa, Philadelphia in particular, that game got rough and rugged, multiple fights in that game. Boston and Columbus actually had some nastiness to it, all revolving around a pretty suspect hit on Patrice Bergeron, and you knew the Bruins were going to take exception to that last night in that game, but it was a very eventful night. But just in general, Nate, Alex and I have been talking about these draws repeatedly here on this show of late, and I'm telling you what, again, last night we see Philly-Ottawa with a draw. We see almost Detroit-Carolina end up with a draw. Great time in here for Alex because we're talking about the draw season being in full effect. Have you gotten in, Nate, on some of these draws that we've been singing the praises of on this show the last couple of weeks? A lot of tight one-goal games across the board.
Yeah, I haven't as much. I think last time we chatted, I had taken Toronto and Minnesota. I think I ended up going to OT, and that was Alex's too. This was a couple weeks ago now. I'll probably have to, change my ways. Like, I've never been a draw better for whatever reason, right?
It's not too late to start.
Yeah.
The right side. Yeah.
I might have to jump in, right? There's just been so many tight games, and as you get down to the wire here, it feels like there's going to be more. So I might have to ride you guys' coattails. Y'all have been pretty hot.
Yeah, it's been fun. And Alex, and it's funny, like I say, we're going to jump right into the Friday card since we've pretty much got Nate just till the top of the hour. So we'll get right into the Friday games. But we will talk about this Connor Bedard thing because I thought it was hilarious. And Alex didn't know it right away. Connor Bedard's rocking the mullet because his team, the Regina Pats, are in the playoffs. And that's a tradition with some teams. We've seen teams at all levels of hockey. The team just decides we're all going to wear a mullet. Just to ride the wave of good voodoo, if you will, in the playoff run. And Connor Bedard's team, including Connor himself, is doing that. And Connor cited his reasoning for the mullet, inspired by Patrick Kane, none other. Yeah. And that was just yesterday, or not yesterday, but on Wednesday, we found out about that. A day before the Chicago Blackhawks lose again to fall into a last-place tie with the Columbus Blue Jackets in the NHL. I mean, it's a sign. Isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it a sign that, hey, he might be Chicago Blackhawk on May 8th, the night of the draft lottery? How do you not believe in these kind of signs right now and this kind of symbolism? Certainly Alex is going to buy into it.
Definitely. And I was, it's funny to see that pop up, and that's what I was mentioning. I was like, well, but did he do the steps? And I put the photo of me from a few years ago in the playoffs when I did that. I kind of copied Patrick Kane in the 2013 and 15 years when he started doing that. So it's cool to see, obviously, like I said, you have those top tier players, they inspire the next generation. And hopefully it'd be nice to see 88 pass the torch to 98 over on the West Side come the next fall.
Yeah, no doubt. That was just pretty interesting there to see that. And, of course, like I say, his team in Regina starting the playoffs. All right, let's get into the Friday card. We'll begin with a very interesting game here, Rangers and Sabres. We've got the Rangers minus 145, road favorite, 6.5 the total in this game. Everybody excited about the NHL debut of Northeastern product, Devin Levi, who will make his NHL debut tonight for the Buffalo Sabres. We know the decorated college career he had with the Huskies, and we know that this Buffalo Sabres team that, I mean, you talk about Devin Levi and the quotes and the interviews he's had the last couple of days since signing with the team and how excited he is. The excitement is palpable to his teammates as well. They seem just as excited and giddy about playing this game and having Levi in net for the first time as well. So I expect a really strong effort here from the Sabres at home. And it's not like I'm saying we won't see that from the Rangers, but think about this spot. The loss last night to the Devils puts them in a spot where I think they're pretty much going to be in tough to get out of third in the Metro Division. You know, they're behind New Jersey by 4. They're behind Carolina by 5. The games remaining are dwindling. It's a back-to-back situation after, you know, playing a rival last night in a pretty hotly contested game. This is definitely not a spot where I'm trusting the Rangers to be at their best, honestly. And, of course, Jarl Halak will be in net tonight, with this being the second of back-to-back. Obviously, against the Devils, it was Shesterkin in goal for them last night. So I definitely think it's a Sabre spot, and I am on Buffalo here. But at the same time, I've been on the Sabres in pro-Sabre spots before, especially at home, and they haven't always gotten the job done in these situations. But, you know, I would say with the Levi excitement, now he could get lit up for 5 goals because the Rangers are obviously that potent offensively. We no doubt when they're on their game offensively with all the weapons they have and the game breakers they have, they might make Levi look rough tonight and make that defense in front of him, which, look, can give up goals. We know that struggle as well. But if there's ever a night where this team is going to want to be strong defensively, and there is a hope that Matthias Samuelsson, who by far is the best defensive-minded defenseman the Buffalo Sabres have, will return from injury tonight for them, which would be significant. And there's actually a game-time decision on Tage Thompson as well, who also might be back tonight. So if there's ever a night where they're going to band together defensively, it's tonight. None of those players, Skinner, Tuch, doesn't matter who, they don't want to embarrass Devin Levi in his NHL debut. They want to bear down. They want to be responsible defensively, make it an easier night on him. I think you get that kind of effort from the Sabres, and it's a tough spot for the Rangers. So, and look, they almost beat the Rangers the last time they played in Buffalo. It was 2-1 in overtime in favor of the Rangers. So I'm going to go with Buffalo here and a little smaller on the draw as well. I can't help it because the last time they met, it went to overtime. So Buffalo plus 125, a little smaller on the draw, upwards of plus 380 in this game. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you think, Rangers Sabres?
Yeah, it's an interesting game, and obviously, like I said, we know for the last couple of days that Devin Levi was finally going to get the start. And when you talk about a highly anticipated goaltender of this magnitude, they're hoping he's going to be the future, and sooner than later. We've talked about it, talked ad nauseum about the issues with the goaltending for Buffalo. There's a lot of pressure on this start, and I know a lot of people are saying, "Wow, what a rough way to kind of give your guy the first game against this New York Ranger team where the offense can, like you said, just dismantle just about any goaltender in the league, be it a rookie or a top tier veteran." So, it could be a trial by fire kind of a night, but like I said, I would think that Buffalo will at least try to batten down the hatches in front of him, block more shots, more active sticks, and play better defensively. And the Rangers, they don't mind playing that kind of style of hockey. So I'd actually probably be looking that. I'm not going to bet anything pregame. I'm going to watch this game to see what happens in the first few minutes, but I might actually be leaning toward an under in this one. I think with Levi, I mean, he's got great form, but can he shake off the jitters, and can the guys in front of him do some work? And the Rangers, even with Halak, like I said, he's had his ups and downs this year, but he's had more ups in the second half than downs. And the Rangers, I don't think they would mind being in a 3-2 kind of a contest. So kind of lends itself to looking at that draw as well. It's not like Buffalo, of course, still in the race. They need all the points they can get. New York, still kind of needing some points in their own little race, but like I said, they're more than likely with losing in regulation to New Jersey the other night. I think they're more, inclined to try to get the bad taste out of their mouth from that loss as opposed to just trying to hang on and climb and get points. So a draw, I maybe sprinkle with, but anything side or total, I'd wait and bet in game.
Right, there we go. Good stuff. Liking a couple of leans there for Alex with this one. Nate, what are you thinking here with Rangers Sabres?
Yeah, I like the analysis on where the Rangers are at. They're kind of standing pat, but I kind of take this one the other direction. I think with Alex, they're rolling into the playoffs. They don't want to lose 2 in a row. I think I agree. Levi was sort of the first thing I circled when I looked at this game, right? And what's the old adage? Like, pressure makes you play either 20% better or 20% worse. I think he's had a great year in Hockey East. Obviously, a Hobey Baker finalist now coming to the NHL. But there's no Mika Zibanejad one-timers in Hockey East, right? There's no Artemi Panarin snapping around in the power play. I I know the Rangers are on a back-to-back. I take a shot at Rangers plus money in regulation. I think it's plus 110 or plus 115. I think Buffalo's going to play them tough. Hopefully, Tage Thompson doesn't play. Hopefully, the Rangers can capitalize and keep some momentum going for playoffs. The other angle I do like is Patrick Kane's home, right? He's back home in Buffalo. So we're going to get showtime.
That I do like, even though I like Buffalo in this game.
Yeah,
Kane, to do something. Yeah.
Patrick Kane to score is plus 175. So maybe take a shot at that. And I don't think the Rangers are particularly motivated, but I'm going to bet against the college free agent getting his first taste of action in the NHL, and I'm going to take the Rangers in regulation.
All right, so to make it a little better, a price liking them, and you get a plus price, obviously, with the Rangers in regulation. Of course, Patrick Kane homecoming. Naturally, of course, he scored the last time they played in Buffalo. That was not long ago, earlier this month, 20 days ago, March the 11th. In Buffalo, 2-1 Rangers win in overtime. Guess who got one of the 2 goals? Sir Patrick Kane. So certainly wouldn't talk anyone out of the Kane prop market tonight.
So now, wait, Nate, if you were to bet, obviously, like I said, individually, you're looking at Rangers in regulation and Sir Patrick Kane to get a point or get a goal. But if you were to say maybe want to throw that into a parlay, would you then go Rangers money line? Okay. Rather than take the regulation out of it.
I think you certainly could if you want to get even higher plus money, right? I generally don't play the player props, as much as Ian does, and he's having a ton of success. So for all the listeners, like he's your guy, right?
Yeah, you see the emails. It's not for the faint of heart. All the player props I bet.
Patrick Kane's one of those guys where when he's home, and Buffalo means a lot to him. He's talked about that throughout the years. He's going to show out. So I'm on that. Yeah, and if you were to parlay him, I'd certainly take the Rangers money line because you're going to get plus money significantly with both those.
Yeah.
It's a nice strategy. Absolutely. So Rangers, Sabres, looking forward to seeing that. Everybody is to see how Devin Levi performs. All right, Red Wings and Jets. We've got Winnipeg minus 270, home favorite, 6 the total in this game. I ain't laying shit with the Winnipeg Jets. Minus 270, no thanks. Hard pass. Hard no, as they say on Letterkenny. No, that's not happening. This team's got to put evidence of playing a good game on the board for me. I mean, the last 2 games have been pathetic, and really offensively, they have just the well has run dry. Right now, the collective Winnipeg Jets team can't put the puck in the ocean. Who's playing well right now in terms of their big stars? This is now twice Rick Bowness has had to call them out, and he did it again after the San Jose game, basically saying, you know what, if some guys think they're playing and their best and emptying their tank, they're dreaming. That was the exact quote he had after the San Jose loss. And he was pointing at, he didn't say names, but he's talking about Mark Scheifele. He's talking about Pierre-Luc Dubois, who from all indications is almost, not that he's not trying, but he's got his designs on Montreal and being there next season. I'm pretty convinced of it. But Dubois has struggled. How about Kyle Connor even? He's not absolved of blame. 1 goal in the last 12 games. That's unacceptable for a guy of his caliber offensively. He's got to be better than that. Josh Morrissey is on an offensive drought. Yeah, he's still probably one of the better defensemen in the league this year, but even his play has tailed off significantly, especially at the offensive end. His point producing has gone away here in the last several. The power play is awful. It's absolutely terrible right now. Really, nobody has stepped up and said, hey, I'm going to score a big goal and a big moment for this team. Nobody is doing that right now for the Winnipeg Jets. And that's who it falls on. It falls on those 3 guys, and Nikolai Ehlers, too, has struggled lately. Those 4 guys, Ehlers, Dubois, Scheifele, and Connor. I mean, they're nowhere to be found offensively right now. So this is Detroit or draw, or both, in my opinion, or you don't bet the game. That's what you do here. It is a tricky spot for Detroit. Okay, they're off a big home win against Carolina in overtime, a thriller. They score in the dying seconds. Jake Wallman, from the point to beat Freddie Anderson and the Hurricanes 3-2. This is a tough spot, and I worry they fall flat a little bit. You beat a team like Carolina's caliber. You go on the road on a back-to-back. It's not easy. It should be, by the way, Hellebuck and Hellberg, the goaltending matchup here tonight in this game tonight. Hellebuck will be the goalie for Winnipeg. We don't know yet for Detroit, but we assume it's Hellberg after it was Nedeljkovic last night, and with Billy Husso, of course, still out. So I expect Hellberg for Detroit, but even with Winnipeg backs against the wall, they had their backs against the wall, San Jose, and I fell for betting on them. So I'm not doing that again. Seriously, I'm just not. You either take Detroit or the draw or nothing, in my opinion. And maybe tonight's the night Winnipeg wakes up. They shellac a team they should 4-0, but I got to see it before I believe it. Alex, what do you think here? Detroit, Winnipeg.
Yeah, you got a lousy Winnipeg team laying a ton at home against the Detroit team that's played against two good playoff quality opponents and gotten wins. Hellberg and Hellebuck. There's no way in hell I'm betting this game. I want nothing to do with it at all. I don't even want the draw here, so it's a pass.
There you go. I can't argue with that. Jimmy Murphy, I can't argue with him joining us on the show on a Friday as well. Jimmy, what's going on? How are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good stuff. How about fight night at the TD Garden last night? My goodness. Jackets and Bruins.
Yeah.
You would think Jackets out of it. Boston, not much to play for. I mean, they were going to win the President's Trophy, a matter of when, not if. So it's not like it was dire, that game for them last night. But, man, it turned into a pretty cantankerous, agitated type of affair, didn't it?
Yeah, and I think, look, I mean, if you go back to last week, guys, against the Montreal Canadiens, Rem Pitlick took a nice little headshot on Patrice Bergeron in that game. Nothing happened to him. Well, I mean, yeah, Brad Marchand took care of him, but nothing disciplinary happened. And then you see a guy take a headshot in Lane Peterson take another one.
Frederick took care of that, didn't he?
Yeah, so I think the Bruins were kind of like, all right, enough of this shit. I mean, like, if the league's not going to help us out here, you're just going to keep taking runs at our captain. And look, I mean, I don't know what Patrice Bergeron has to do in the eyes of the officials and the NHL Department of Player Safety to prove that he's a NHL superstar and a future Hall of Famer and should be treated that way. But they just suddenly don't look at him that way. So the Bruins said, screw you. We're going to take care of it on our own. And from there on, it turned into a really rough game. But I think it was a type of game that the Boston Bruins needed right now because, look, like you said, it was only a matter of when they were going to clinch there. And a lot of these games don't really mean much. And it's hard to get up for these games, right? And so you need something to manifest like that in a game to kind of get the emotion and the juices flowing. And that happened there. And I credit to Columbus. I thought they played a really good defensive game. I really,
they really tried to protect
that team, guys, because, I know they're the worst team in hockey, but I don't think they're as bad as they are if they hadn't had a lot of the bad luck they had. I don't think they make the playoffs, but I don't think they're that bad if not for the injuries and some of the stuff that they went through. So good for them. It was an entertaining game for a 2-1 game. I was pretty happy. I took the under. I really thought Linus Ullmark was going to want to come back there and get one after the previous game. So, a great game there and lots of good stuff. I thought that Edmonton LA game was fabulous last night.
Do you know what? I get the premise from some other teams that when you play Boston, you want to target Patrice Bergeron because he's just such an important player and he does everything for them. Score, face-offs, power play, penalty kill, amazing at both ends of the ice. I get that. But don't you at some point say, this is one hell of a great guy. Do we really have to go over the edge, over the top to try to hit him in the head or something?
And guys, the thing I don't get either is this has come twice from teams that aren't going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's not like you're playing a team. It's not like Columbus or Montreal might see the Bruins in the playoffs and, hey, let's send a message and let's try to – I get it. That's part of the game. You try to injure guys. You try to get guys out. So if you're going to play them in the playoffs, you don't have to face them. So I get that from a playoff team. But this, to me, was just plain senseless. And I get, hey, maybe these guys are trying to make a name for themselves for next year. So they got a good vibe going into training camp, and the coaching staff remembers how they played down the stretch, even when the season was over, basically. But yeah, it's bullshit. I don't like it. I mean, Patrice Bergeron deserves more respect than that.
I feel like, though, the reason that, well, Jimmy, you would know better than I. You watch more Boston games than I do, but I feel like some of the reason the officials don't protect him is he's such a lunch pail guy, right? Like, he has a reputation in the league. He should be protected. He's a star player, but the way he plays the game the right way, maybe he just doesn't. He's overlooked.
They don't view him as the McDavid flashy guy, so you're not getting that same kind of break.
Great point, guys.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. But I mean, I don't know if I'm the referee. I want to protect the guys that, as far as I know, I have a great relationship with. I mean, when have you ever seen Patrice Bergeron really go at it with a ref, except for last night after? Yeah. It's well known that he gets along with the refs well. That's why he wears a C. So, I think there needs to be a little more respect given to him in these last few games because, if something happens to him and he can't play in the first round or even longer because the league didn't send a message to the rest of the league, to the teams that the Bruins are playing, that's not going to be good. I mean, send a message right now. I don't know why that guy that wasn't a review for that, but I guess Jim Montgomery said that if you watch the replay, it was Patrice's own stick that hit him in the ear and made him bleed. But obviously his stick doesn't go there if he doesn't take that shot from Peterson. So.
All right, Jimmy, obviously we don't have you tomorrow, but I'll throw this out there that we'll get your take on the 2 Friday games we talked about first, but I'll get your take on the Boston game tomorrow. Does it seem like the obvious you got to take Pittsburgh tomorrow? I mean, first game after clinching the President's Trophy. It's a huge game for the Penguins tomorrow. They're a home underdog against Boston. Is it that simple?
I would say yes, normally, guys. But if you watch Jim Montgomery's press conference last night, nobody even prompted him. He came out and said it. We're looking at this game as a potential matchup for the playoffs, and we want to send a message to them.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't know how many guys he's going to rest tomorrow. I if I was him, I don't play Patrice Bergeron for the rest of the season. I don't play David Pastrnak for the rest of the season. I don't play Brad Marchand for the rest of the season. But the way he sounded, they're going into this as if it's a playoff matchup. So,
and it very well could be.
I don't think it's so much of a layup. I think you're going to have to pay close attention. I'll give you guys a tip right now. He's scheduled to speak to the media at 1:40 p.m. Eastern tomorrow prior to the game. They didn't practice today. They flew to Pittsburgh. Obviously, no morning skate. So pay attention to what he says at 1:40 p.m., and you're going to know how they're approaching this game.
Very good thoughts. Great stuff. Great stuff. Great info right there. Because, look, the automatic angle, and I know Alex is right on board with me here, is when the team clinches the President's Trophy, especially, which means there's now nothing on the line the rest of the regular season. Right. You automatically bet against them that first game.
And especially on the road, too, normally. But, yeah.
And especially against a desperate team.
Yeah. Yep. Sure. It's actually starting to play, they've gotten the train back on the tracks a little bit. I like their game against Nashville. Last night. And Jari was very good, which was a relief to see that for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, yeah, it's Pittsburgh or pass for me, but you're at least giving me some, let's give it some second thoughts here before we actually do pull the trigger with the Penguins tomorrow. And that's an ABC game. It is an ABC
afternoon
game as well.
Yep.
Afternoon national TV game. Is there some message sending for the Bruins?
Right?
Yeah,
3:10.
Very potentially, that's the first round matchup too. Because right now, Boston, the top seed in the East, they're the 2 wild card. Pittsburgh. That's your first round matchup as of right now.
Yeah. So look, it could be a better game than we think. I'm with you. I would lean Pittsburgh, but I'm going to wait to see what Montgomery says early afternoon tomorrow.
There you go. So a little look ahead to that Bruins-Penguins game, because it's just that, and any team in this spot like Boston is in, like if it was the Tampa Bay Lightning from years past, or any team that just clinches the President's Trophy, I'm looking to fade them that very next game, but it may not be quite that cut and dried based on what Jimmy's saying for the Bruins tomorrow against Pittsburgh. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But Jimmy, these first 2 Friday games, Rangers, Sabres, Red Wings, Jets, what do you like in them?
Well, I'll start with the Rangers Sabres, guys. I'm going heavy on the under here. We got Devon Levy making his NHL debut. I think he's I don't know if he wins. I think he's going to have a great performance though. I've watched this kid a lot here in Boston at Northeastern. I actually know, too, his family from Montreal. Big fan of him. I think he's going to be a stud in this league. This game means nothing for the Sabres, but it means a lot for him, right? And I think because of that Sabres team is going to rally around him. I think this game could be a lot closer than people think, and I think it's going to be pretty low scoring. So I'm going to take the under in that. I'm going to stay away from the side.
All right, and Detroit-Winnipeg.
This game, man,
Well, if the Red Wings didn't beat Carolina at home last night and weren't on a back-to-back, I'd put something on Detroit here, but that makes it tougher.
Yeah, and you gotta just think, like, after what Rick Bowness said the other night, where he just literally called out half his team, basically, saying, everyone isn't pulling on the same rope here, and we need that to stop, and we need everyone to join together here. If Winnipeg has any pride whatsoever, they're going to show up in a big way. So I would lean Winnipeg, but instead of that, I'm going to go with the under in this game. I think either way, I think that Winnipeg shows up and tightens up defensively. And, I think the Red Wings have been playing pretty well defensively as well. So I'm going with another under in this one as well, under 6.
All right, under 6 here for Red Wings and Jets from Jimmy. How about Nate? What do you like here, Detroit-Winnipeg?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough spot. You can't obviously play the money line here. Even if you think the Jets are going to dominate, the puck line's plus 100. It's not great. So for me, I like Jimmy's play. I'm looking under here. I think Rick Bowness, let's call it what it is. I mean, the Jets are not a great team. They've struggled. Maybe some guys haven't been, producing, but they're a team with resolve, and I think they're going to battle. Guys like Scheifele and some of these other guys, Dubois, he's maybe got one foot out the door, but like they're a team that typically will battle hard. I think Hellebuck's going to have a good performance tonight. When he's on, he can be tough. So I'm going to look at the under, and I'm also going to take a shot. I think if you're going to play something, Detroit, right, off a back-to-back, they win last night. They have to get their gear off, pack their shit, fly to Winnipeg. They get into Winnipeg. Detroit's been a bad first period team all year. I'm going to take a shot on Winnipeg on the three-way first period. So I'm staying away from the game. I think I've seen first period plus 120. I think they come out hard and heavy, and then
That's a great call.
Yeah.
First guys, period. I would add too Wallman for a point. I like too for a prop.
Nice play.
Yeah,
I've been really impressed with him.
Yeah,
he has. He's played. He's really distinguished himself this year for the Red Wings, and he's played really solid. He's really showing some offensive flair and upside as well lately for the Detroit Red Wings. And keep in mind, he scored that game winner earlier this year where he did the gritty celebration as well. Good stuff indeed. Yeah, he's plus 600 to get an assist, plus 770 at FanDuel to get a goal. So I don't see many books with point props, but there's books with goal and assist props. It's kind of weird with Jake Wallman.
I'll take a goal on that. Are you kidding me?
That's what you do. If you like the point prop and they're only offering goal and assist props on Jake Wallman, you sprinkle on both. If one of them hits, you're profitable. Yep, that's exactly what you do, because one of those is going to result in a point, either a goal or an assist. So that's the way you play it, certainly for Jake Wallman for Detroit here tonight. I am not betting a single Winnipeg Jet offensive prop tonight. Not a single one, with the way their offense is not going right now for them. All right, we got 2 games left. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much as well. Thanks to all of our podcast listeners enjoying the show as well. We'll be right back in just a moment with the last 2 games on this Friday card, right after we hear from GramCo.
Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by GramCo. Whether you or your team's game is on the field, screen, racetrack, court, or the ice, GramCo is for the game. Grown by farmers who spent years developing premium hemp genetics, GramCo provides customers with consistent quality Delta-8 THC products ready for any occasion. GramCo currently offers numerous Delta-8 products, including vape cartridges, disposable vapes, pre-rolls, gummies, wake and bake coffee, and more. GramCo offers an enjoyable, legal high delivered discreetly and directly to you. GramCo is also available at many American retailers as well. You can get the best Delta-8 cannabis products on the market shipped quickly and discreetly from GramCo. And if you visit www.thegramco.com, use promo code IceGuys, you will get 20% off of every order, and any order that's on the site over $50 will be shipped free with standard shipping. So live elevated with GramCo and check out their wonderful Delta-8 products today.
And Alex is about to tell us that there's still plenty of time for the playoff box giveaway presented by GramCo as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You got until April 7th at midnight, and we will draw 6 winners on April 8th's episode, which is going to be a huge one. Keep in mind, that's the day where every team in the NHL plays. So it's a big Saturday. You don't want to miss that show anyway, but you definitely don't want to miss it because you got to find out if you won or not. Enter the contest right now. The link is posted at our Twitter page at @the_Ice Guys. It's tagged on top. I also put the link in the chat box. Linktree /the Ice Guys. That's where you can find everything we have, our Patreon, our store, but also you'll find the form giveaway. And then you can also find the form inside the description, right at the very top of the description of every video from now until April 8th here on YouTube.
Good stuff. All right, there you go. Make sure you check it out and get in on that contest. All right, Calgary, Vancouver. We've got Calgary minus 135, road favorite, 6.5, the total in this game. The Flames, of course. The Flames are trying to win 3 in a row. Obviously, they've won 2 in a row. They've had a nice little uptick that's put themselves in a position where the pressure's on Winnipeg. That's why that's such a big game for them. Calgary's only 2 points behind them now for that second and final wild card spot in the Western Conference with their back-to-back victories against San Jose and Los Angeles at home. But now they go on the road, face this feisty Vancouver team that has not been an easy team to beat lately. That's 8-3 in their last 11 games. The Vancouver Canucks entering tonight. They're off a road trip. That's always a little bit of a bet against negative spot off the 3-game roadie against Dallas, Chicago, and Vancouver. They won the first 2 and then lost in overtime against St. Louis. Final game of that trip. So it's a little bit of a negative spot for Calgary. It feels a little cheap, the price on Calgary a little bit, but I'm not ready to trust this group just yet, laying minus 135 on the road. Because do you know the last time they won 3 in a row? It was early December. That's the last time we have seen a 3-game winning streak from the Calgary Flames. They've won 3 games in a row twice, the very start of the year. In October, they won their first 3 games of the season. And then they had a 3-game win streak in Detroit, at the beginning of December. And since then, every time they've won 2 in a row, and they've won 2 in a row a bunch of times since early December, they have lost that next game. They failed to string 3 in a row together. It's very difficult for me to trust this group fully. I do like the way they've played this week. Markstrom's played better. They're finding ways to play the way Sutter wants them to play, tight checking. The defensive play was good against LA, but I'm not ready to lay $1.35. I'll sprinkle on the draw, if anything, here in this one. As far as the total goes, I lean over, but I don't love it. So I like lean draw, don't love it. Lean over, don't love it. That's where I stand here on this one. Alex, what do you think here? Flames, Canucks.
Yeah, I'm going with this first period over. I grabbed over 2 at plus 110. I'm seeing a rogue 1.5 minus 136 at FanDuel. I would obviously endorse that as well. That's a great price to lay for 1.5 if you have that available. But if not, a 2 is fine. We've seen Calgary 6 straight games go over the total in the first period. Vancouver on a 20-5 run the last 25. So I think we see goals back and forth here. Like we see, like I said, Calgary, they're in full desperation mode now, and they can't rest back and play the style of hockey they want necessarily, especially Vancouver, the way that they've been playing at home. If they press and get a goal early, Calgary has to try to come back and match that intensity. I think we'll see some goals here early and often. So definitely liking that first period over.
And it is worth noting, Vancouver's played pretty decently at home lately, and they've actually beaten some decent teams. They almost beat Boston at home. I remember that. But look at their recent home games that they've had. They beat Dallas at home. They beat Ottawa at home. They beat Nashville at home. It's been a better run for the Vancouver Canucks, even on their home ice lately. So it's not going to be an easy game for Calgary. And, I think if you're Vancouver, you're actually, kind of excited. You may be able to play spoiler here against a division rival. What do you think here, Jimmy? Calgary, Vancouver?
I'm going to go with a Jimmy puck line here, guys, on the Calgary Flames. I'm with you. Wow. I think they're turning a corner a bit. I was thinking as we were talking about Winnipeg, who's the more disappointing team this year, the Winnipeg Jets or the Calgary Flames? And I look at it right now, guys. I think Calgary is going to pull out of this. I don't think Winnipeg does. So give me the Calgary Flames, minus 1.5 in this one.
All right, Jimmy Puck.
Guys, first home game back from a road trip too. I'm applying that as well for the Canucks.
Yeah, that's definitely a negative for the Canucks. Will they be able to overcome that? We'll see. Thatcher Demko confirmed in net for the Canucks. We assume Jacob Markstrom, even though it hasn't been confirmed yet for the Calgary Flames in this one. Nate, anything you like here? Flames, Canucks.
It's too tough of a spot for me. I think I'd probably lean Flames. They're 2 points back of Winnipeg. I think it is, obviously starting to turn that corner. But you just look at Vancouver, and obviously they've been shit defensively all year. They've really struggled. But I look up and down this lineup, and there's a ton of talent. And on any given night, the way they've been playing, they're to your point, 7-2-1 in the last 10. I think 8-3 in the last 11 or something. I just don't really like getting Calgary in this spot. I think Vancouver has an opportunity to play spoiler. Pettersson's amazing. You go up and down this lineup, Miller, Hughes, Kuzmenko. There's a lot of talent here. And I think Vancouver is they've had a disappointing season. I think the puck luck may have turned around a little bit. They have a little momentum. So I'm going to sit this one out.
Yeah, Toffoli's really played well against Vancouver. He's the flame I would target tonight. Tyler Toffoli is always the forward in a big spot. I trust him. I trust him to show up. I think he will. So I like some Toffoli props tonight. For Vancouver, look, Pettersson's on this incredible point streak right now for them. 13-game point streak for Elias Pettersson. Kuzmenko, I think Kuzmenko's still very, value. There's still value with his point props. He's gotten a point in 4 straight games for the Canucks. Besser's on a 3-game point and goal streak for the Canucks as well. So keep that in mind. You may want to, if you believe in riding the streak, Brock Besser on a 3-game goal and point streak for the Canucks right now. All right, Dallas, Arizona, final game of this Friday card. Dallas minus 240, road favorite, 6 the total in this game. These Arizona Coyotes, they shouldn't be trying to win games as much as they are, but they are. This team's trying to compete and trying to win. The players are anyway. I don't think the management's keen on it. But, if I'm Arizona, you might as well just finish off the season playing hard. You've already screwed yourself enough out of a good draft lottery spot. you've already moved up way up the standings enough to the point where, you've really hurt and damaged your Connor Bedard chances as it is. You might as well just keep on playing it out as hard as you can. I mean, look at the Arizona Coyotes these last 10 games. 3 in a row go to overtime. They lose to Colorado on the road in overtime. They beat Calgary and Minnesota in overtime at home. And then they win against Vancouver and Chicago at home. But then they go on the road. They have a little bit of a losing streak, but every game was competitive on the road. Winnipeg 2-1. Edmonton 4-3 in overtime. They lose 3-1 in Colorado. Close game. Empty net goal put it away. And then they come back home. They lose in a shootout to Colorado 4-3. And then to Edmonton in a close game 5-4 that could have went either way. They've been right there in every single game lately. You got Dallas obviously comes into this game after a 4-1 win against Chicago, but they've been kind of win-loss lately. They've alternated wins and losses in recent games. They've got a huge game in Colorado tomorrow night against the Avalanche. I think we're going to see not Matthew Murray, probably in net tonight for the Dallas Stars on the front end of the back-to-back. I'm going to assume they save Jake Ottinger for tomorrow night against the Avalanche. So I think a pretty good chance we see Murray for the Stars in net because Scott Wedgwood's still out. And look, Matthew Murray's lost his last 2 starts and given up 8 goals in those 2 games combined. So I think there's a very live underdog here with Dallas playing in Colorado. They've alternated wins and losses. Can't always trust them to put 2 in a row on the board. For me, this is going to be my classic late season Ian Cameron underdog/draw split here in this game. That's the way we're going to go about it here with Stars and Coyotes. You can get the Stars north of plus 200. I'm seeing plus 215 with Arizona, actually in some spots. And the draw is it was at plus 390 at FanDuel, the best price out there with the draw earlier this morning. Even the FanDuel price has dropped a little bit, plus 370 now, but it's still a great price on the draw here for Dallas and Arizona. So that's the way I'm going to go about it here. Arizona plus 210, money line split with the draw at plus 370, currently best price for the draw at FanDuel. And I'm also going to take a little shot over 5.5 minus 132 at FanDuel. I think 5.5 for the total is a little bit low for this game. With Matthew Murray in net for Dallas, I think Arizona can score some goals. Arizona's played some track meets here the last 2 home games as well. And I think Dallas can find the back of the net against either Vejmelka or Ingram. So I think at 5.5, I do like the over here. Alex, what do you think? Stars, Coyotes?
Okay, so one thing, Daily Faceoff has Jake Ottinger listed as likely for tonight. So I need to find another confirmation to make sure on that. Wow. But yeah, so that's keeping me off of looking at a side here. I'm just sticking with the draw. I got it at plus 360. I've seen it drop now. Like I said, the 370 at FanDuel, that's about as high as you'll find. It's mostly 355, 350. That's still a decent price. And I'm hoping Dallas can win this game tonight because I'd like to take Arizona to bounce back tomorrow playing against an awful San Jose team, which will more than likely be in a plus spot or maybe even laying a small price. So it's kind of setting up kind of 2 plays. I like the draw here because I think Arizona can keep this close. And like I said, Dallas might be looking a little bit ahead. They only need points, but they might be looking a little bit ahead to that big matchup with Colorado. And hopefully Dallas can get that second point. Arizona can come back and I'd look to bet them against San Jose tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. I'll probably be back on Arizona tonight, even if they lose in regulation tonight against Dallas. But certainly if I cash in at least one of the 2 tonight, draw or Arizona, or hopefully both, definitely I'll still probably back them tomorrow night as well because still, again, they've been really, really good at home. I mean, they've either won or they've just barely lost in a 1-goal tight competitive game. So the Mullet Arena has actually provided the best of the best, brought the best out of the Arizona Coyotes this year. And look, these young kids are playing fearless. Barrett Hayton, Clayton Keller's on fire. Matthias Michelli, the Italian stallion. I mean, he's doing a nice job for them right now. They've got a lot of players pulling in the right direction. Schmaltz is on fire again. So lots to like up front with the Coyotes. I mean, the defense still gives up a lot of shots. That's still their issue. But certainly offensively, they've shown some punch. What do you think here, Jim?
First off, is that, did you just coin that nickname or what?
No, I just it's anybody that's got like an Italian last name. I just call them the Italian stallion.
You should copyright that and make some shirts.
I thought for sure someone else did that or came up with it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You got to do that. You got some good ones, Ian. Look, going back first off to what you were saying, I totally agree with you that, they should go guns a-blazing until the end of the season. I mean, they're completely out of the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. And guys, not for nothing. Like, I know everybody's focused on Bedard and rightfully so, But this draft, when you talk to scouts and longtime amateur scouts around
number
the league,
2 isn't getting chopped liver. Only Adam Fantilli out of Michigan. Yeah.
Guys, look, I was at the 2000, in my opinion, in my lifetime. Well, I shouldn't say in my life. In my career covering the NHL, the 2003 draft to me is the best draft I've ever been in, and has the most best players that ever come out of it. They're comparing this draft to that draft, and a lot of people are saying it's going to be better than that. So, you look at it now, who cares? You've got how many number 1 picks and number 2 picks and number 3 picks and number 4 and number 5 can Arizona get? You know what I mean? Like, you're still going to get a good player in the first round, no matter what, no matter where you pick, whether you're the Boston Bruins or whoever picks number 1, you're still going to get a great player. So I'm with you. I think this team should keep pushing forward like that. I don't know if they come through with the win tonight. I'm with Alex. I want to see who's in net. But I wouldn't mind taking them in the first period because you're right. They're always juiced up in that arena. They always come out flying. It's a lot tougher place than people realize to play in. So I'm going to go with the Arizona Coyotes money line in the first period. And then, give me a point by Maselli, by the Italian Stallion.
And he's been rocking and rolling lately for the
speaking
Coyotes.
of Mullet Arena, guys, I don't know if you saw the quotes from the new NHLPA executive director, former mayor of Boston, Marty Walsh, who I know very well, met the media for the first time yesterday. And he went off on the fact that an NHL team is playing in a college arena. He's like, we can't have that anymore. That's got to change. Yeah. So I thought that was a big shot across the bow at the league there. And that's something to watch, I think, in the off season. I don't know do they have a contract or are they year to year with Mullet Arena?
I think it's just year by year.
I think it's the year by year for 3 years, but it's like it's kind of it's not
they have an opt-out clause.
Okay, so I'm telling you guys, watch out. That might change next year, and they might be playing in an actual closer to NHL size arena. I don't even know if it'll be in Arizona either. And then maybe they move back when if the Tempe residents vote yes on the arena, then maybe they move it back when that thing's ready to go, because you got to think about that. That's probably not ready to go for like 5 to 7 years.
Right. Yeah.
You can't have an NHL team. The NHL players looking at this right now, guys, remember, it's a 50-50 split in revenue, and they're getting screwed. They're like, what? You're playing in a 7,000 seat arena? We're getting screwed here. We want revenue.
That's right.
So that's
hard to make it in a little rinky-dink building like that. Yeah.
And here's a novel concept. How about you take an NHL team and you put them in an NHL arena, and then put that NHL arena in an actual NHL city that can sell out every night? Maybe just think of that.
Yeah. I'm with you, bud. I'm with you. I mean, I will keep, saying go to Quebec. I know it's never going to happen, but
Quebec or Houston.
He's more interested in Utah right now, apparently, than Quebec City. That's what I'm.
Well, I think Houston and Kansas City are very real possibilities.
Yeah.
Kansas City. Do we really need another Missouri team though?
Yeah, that's
and Utah. Apparently, someone's interested in Utah to bring an NHL team to Utah. He was having lunch with them the other day.
If they move Utah, they got to keep the Grizzly name. If they go,
can you drink at the games?
Yeah. I think they have a whole thing with. There's some weird thing of how you can drink in Utah.
Okay, so they're exempt from all the Mormon stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Gary's getting a lot more people on his side there from Quebec after hearing that. Yeah, that he's entertaining Utah right now, and someone that's interested in an NHL franchise there right now.
Have
it's
you
like,
guys
hello, we're here. Yeah.
You ever been to Quebec?
No, I haven't.
I have not. No, I have. I've been to Gatineau, but
okay. So you've been to Montreal.
I've been to Quebec.
You guys have been to Montreal,
but not Montreal. Yeah. Gatineau.
Oh, you haven't been to Montreal?
No.
Okay, so I mean, Montreal is very European, but it still has that North American feel as well, right? It's like a combo.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, you go to Quebec, you are in Europe. It's a whole nother world there, and hardly anyone speaks English, but it's a cool as hell city, man, and they love their hockey up there. I mean, I went there for the World Championships back in 2008. It's one of the best experiences I ever had. So I just hopefully they come to their senses and put a team there.
Yeah, overdue for sure. For sure. All right, Nate, what do you think? You're Dallas, Arizona.
Yeah, I'd like to see on Ottinger. I mean, just a general comment on Arizona. How appropriate for them? I get that this draft is deep, but how appropriate for them to probably miss out on Bedard. And we'll see how he is. I mean, he's an amazing junior career, amazing World Juniors, but he's probably a generational talent. We'll see. one of those type of guys, and just how appropriate for them to keep winning and miss out on him. But in any case, I think I want to see on Ottinger. If he's in, I'd probably be off Arizona. If he's not in, I like the draw. And I'm going to follow you guys on the draw. I've been missing out on these things. It's time for me to hit a plus money draw with Ian and Alex. So
yeah, that's what we're talking about.
I'm going to look at the goaltending situation and see. But yeah, we'll go from there. And have any of you guys thought about Arizona? That's a great NHL city, or not Arizona, Atlanta, great NHL city, right? That could be a good one. I'm kidding.
Didn't they say was it Kevin Weeks or somebody last month was saying they might go back to Atlanta?
Anthony Carter trying to get part of a group together to bring another NHL team to Atlanta.
Well, because one of our national TV partners' home base is there, we got to put a team in Atlanta again.
Yeah, that's probably why.
You've had two NHL teams, an IHL team. They tried to merge and buy an AHL team that folded apart, and then even the East Coast team that was in Gwinnett, they went to Atlanta. They bounced back to Gwinnett at one point. So I don't understand that region. That state clearly does not give a shit about professional hockey enough.
The NHL is a glutton for punishment. That's what they are.
I'm on Houston. I love Houston as an NHL city.
I think Houston would be cool.
The Houston-Dallas rivalry would be awesome.
That would be good.
Insane. That would be great.
It's a huge TV market too, guys. I mean,
it is.
That's what they need.
Yeah.
Huge TV market, built-in rivalry, but then at the same time, we kind of thought it'd be a built-in rivalry with Seattle, Vancouver, and that hasn't really come to fruition either. So
it will.
I think it will in due time too.
Yeah.
It's because Vancouver's gone down the shithole again.
Yeah.
And once they're both good at the same time, that's going to be
right. Yeah, I think they flip-flopped kind of in the last 2 years. So
and by the way, I mean, half the building is Canucks fans when the Canucks play there. From what
Yeah.
That's how it always is.
There's no
Seattle,
doubt.
too many transplants.
I want Hartford back.
Yeah, exactly. I hope the locals in Seattle are excited, though. That team is definitely going to make the playoffs, and I hope they get behind it there, as that team is definitely going to be a playoff bound. Just a question of when, not if they clinch. But
what else do they have? The Seahawks suck, so.
Yeah, exactly. Seahawks. The Mariners are going to be a World Series contender and very good this year, but it's early in the baseball season.
And what's the whole deal with they're supposed to be getting the Sonics back. The Supersonics were they're coming back, and then they're going to be a team in Vegas. So I don't know what but Seattle's kind of up in limbo with their sports.
Yeah, no doubt. So the Atlanta thing, no, I don't want to hear anything about Atlanta getting another team unless you're going to clone. If you have a machine where you can clone people, and you're going to clone 20,000 Liam McHughes, 20,000 Biz Nasties, 20,000 Anson Carters. You're not going to get people turning out for those games, unless you're going to clone the TNT crew, who I'm sure they'd love a team down there because their studios are in Atlanta. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work there by any stretch of the imagination. And this Utah thing, the reason I'm mentioning it is because that's Jeff Merrick and Elliot Friedman on 32 Thoughts floating that out there. So clearly there's something to it with the Utah chatter, with Gary Bettman talking to this guy that's looking to own a sports team in Utah with the money apparently to purchase a team.
And do the Grizzlies used to,
and they're talking expansion, not like relocation, like actually expand and a brand new expansion franchise to Utah. Yeah.
The Grizzlies used to draw like crazy in the 90s when they were in the IHL. They originally started at Denver, then moved to Salt Lake City. Each year that they were last year in Denver and first year in Utah, they won titles. And they played in the same building with the Utah Jazz, and they would actually have 10 to 12,000 people on a weekend. The only team that did better was the Wolves. So it's not the craziest thing ever, but also and obviously regional wise, you have the built-in now. They're at Colorado. They're with in Arizona. Like I said, it's expansion, and they keep Arizona. Then you have Arizona there and Vegas. So proximity, it's great for a lot of things. So it's not the weirdest thing in the world, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. You got a nice little, mountain area, desert area rivalry thing going on there. You could have with Utah and Colorado and Arizona and Vegas, that quartet a little bit.
I'd love to, though, depending on how expansion went, and obviously divisions are so large now, but if they could somehow create a Southern sort of rivalry, you get a little Nashville, a little Dallas, a little Houston, and you start to get that Southern flavor, which some of those markets, and granted, smaller teams, but as junior hockey markets, as semi-pro markets have been amazing. I think that would be such a cool division to be in such an environment, right? Nashville's been great. Dallas pretty good. I think it would be cool to have some sort of Southern flavor.
Yeah, we'll see if it continues to. Houston is one I'd be open to. I'd be open to your.
New Orleans. Give me New Orleans too.
Yeah, I don't know. Houston would be better because here's the thing that with that proximity, a Houston team would have fans in Louisiana.
Yeah.
So
True.
Yeah.
It's like Saints fans. There's so many Saints fans in South Texas where the Texans were worried about not only competing with Cowboy fans, but they were worried about competing with Saints fans too. So have that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there's lots of relocation / expansion balls floating in the air when it comes to the NHL right now, no doubt. And I'm sure a lot of theories are going to be floated about here in the weeks and the months and maybe even years to come. Great stuff. Nice discussion there. Great to have Nate and Jimmy with us. Hit the like button. We will be right back with, and by the way, patreon.com/iceguys, just $10 a month. Make sure you check it out. Goalie charts, totals charts, power ratings, the daily Ice Guys show betting card, bonus content, patreon.com/iceguys, just $10 a month.
Today, tomorrow, and Sunday, last 3 days, you can save 20% off everything in the Ice Guys store. So shop now, iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
Good stuff. Best bets coming up right after we hear from Manscaped. Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS. That's promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, it's about 14 million balls that you can preserve. The Performance Package 4.0 is the complete accessory package to take care of everything that is required. You've got, of course, the Lawnmower 4.0. Takes care of your facial hair and among other things. You've got, of course, the Weed Whacker. I'm approaching 40. Nose hair has become a major issue. It pisses the hell out of me. I need to take care of that shit, and the Weed Whacker can help you do that. Both of these products, waterproof and a 4000K LED spotlight for a more precise shave. And you'll also be able to take care of those delicate areas with the ball toner, with the ball deodorant, keep you smelling good, looking good, and feeling good down in the nether regions. This complete Performance Package 4.0 will take care of everything for you, for all you guys out there, and it's courtesy of our good friends at manscaped.com. So get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use promo code ICEGUYS. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, it is time for Best Bets. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like for Best Bet on this Friday?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to choose from, actually, with this 4-game slate. But I'm actually going to go with Dallas, Arizona, and the draw. I am seeing that within the last 40 minutes, Jake Oettinger was the first goalie off the ice, so that's why they're leaning to all signs pointing that he'll be the starter. Arizona, plays tight, especially at home. I think this is going to be a back-and-forth game. This is a pop and edible, chill back, and watch the draw come in at plus 350 here with the Stars and the Coyotes tonight for Friday.
There you go. I like that bet too. Dallas, Arizona draw, upwards of plus 370 right now at FanDuel for best bet for Alex. Jimmy, what do you like for best bet?
You got me, guys?
We got you.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm going to go with the Jimmy puck line I gave you, the Calgary Flames minus 1.5.
There you go. Flames puck line for Jimmy with best bet. Nate, good to have you back. He'll be back on, Nate, with us 2 weeks from now. The final Friday of the regular season. Nate will be back Friday, April. I keep saying March, God damn it. Friday, April the 14th. The final. That's not only the final Friday, that's the final day of the regular season, Friday, April 14th. So we'll have a fascinating card to break down because there'll be guys sitting out left and right there. It'll be fascinating to see what the lineups look like. But Nate, what do you like tonight for best bet?
Yeah, give me the Winnipeg Tricky Dick bonus first period money line for the Winnipeg Jets, right? Plus 115. Detroit flying all the way to Winnipeg. Winnipeg backs against the wall. I like them to win the first period tonight. So Winnipeg first period.
All right, that's Winnipeg first period puck line at a plus price for Nate Rapensky for his best bet. My best bet here for this Friday night, I'm going to go with. It's risky, but we'll go Buffalo. We'll go Buffalo plus 125 against the Rangers. Devin Levi's debut. I think it's just a game that's going to mean a little bit more to the Sabres because they are still mathematically alive as well. It's not going to be easy. They didn't get any help from Pittsburgh or Florida last night, who both won, but still, they're not dead totally yet, not mathematically. And the Rangers are, I think, pretty much locked into third. Tough back-to-back after playing a big game against the Devils, their likely first-round opponent last night. Tricky spot for the Rangers. Buffalo brings it tonight. Hopefully good enough to win. We'll take them. The price is not bad. Plus 125 Buffalo for me for best bet on this Friday NHL card. That'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. And if you can't watch the show, make sure you download the podcast on all major podcast platforms. For Alex B. Smith, Jimmy Murphy, Nate Rapensky, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Friday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. Join us tomorrow. A huge Saturday card. Me, Alex B. Smith, Kevin Beach with you to break it all down for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by National Hockey Now.